Hey everyone, this is me, a quick video showing you my bows. I have 3 bows, 2 of them are compound, one of them is a recurve, and I'm going to show them to you in the order that I got them. This is the first one that I got. This here is an Indian stalker. This is a compound bow, as you can see. The pull weight on this one is 45 pounds to 55 pounds, depending on how you have the limbs set up. For those of you who don't know, a compound bow, which is a bow that has the pulleys right here, these are actually called cams. What that does is when you pull it back, the cams make it easier to draw back the more you pull back. Some bows have as much as a 75% let off when you get it fully drawn back. So if the bow was 100 pounds, when you get it pulled back, it's only 25 pounds that you're holding. This one here is a very old bow. Indian stalkers were a very baseline bow back in the 70s and 80s. Even back then, this was a very basic bow. This one here is missing some things, like it would normally have a sight right here and several other things. However, this was my first bow, this was given to me, and since I like shooting it like a recurve bow instinctively, it doesn't bother me that it's missing the sights. And here's an up close of this bow. So as you can see, definitely a lot of age on this bow. This bow has a place to screw in a stabilizer, but it doesn't have one. The next bow I got after that is another compound bow, as you can see. And this one here is a golden eagle. This one has features that the Indian stalker just doesn't have. Number one, as you can see, this one here does have a sight. And this here has what's called a hunter's sight. I really like that type of peep. I do not like the ones that attaches here and then it has the bungee cord or whatever attached there and it straightens out as you pull back. I don't like that. I like these right here. And this again is called a hunter's peep. This one here has the side quiver as well, and it has a stabilizer right here, which, as I said, the Indian stalker does not have. And this one here actually has the spring-loaded arrow rest. This here is to be fitted to the arrow that you are using. And as you can see, as I said, it's spring-loaded. So, when an arrow is on the bow, and I will not be pulling this back, that's how it sits on there. Now the interesting thing is that what this does for you with this way that it's set up is, as you can see, it's even with this part right here. Now if this were above the brass beads right there, then now as you can see, it's tilted downward. So that lets you know which way the arrow is going to fly. And if it were off the rest, then even more so. A bow like this one here is really designed to be shot with a release, and I have 2 releases for when using this bow. Here's the first release. This is the one that actually came with the bow. And this type, what it does is it has this Velcro. It goes around your wrist, just like this. And from there, that's how it is when you use it. I'm not fond of this type of release to where it attaches to the wrist. I just don't like that. Now here's my second release, and this is the one that I prefer much more. As you can see, it's much more ergonomic. You hold it like this, it fits the hand, the trigger is right there. I attached this lanyard so that I can attach it to my wrist, just like this. And when I'm shooting, I shoot, and if I need to, when getting arrows, I can just let it go like this. and pull my arrows out of the target. If you are a hunter and you want to use one of these types of releases but you're worried about dropping it, this is a good solution. Now this is red and black paracord, but obviously you can use other colors of paracord. And all I did was I attached a key ring in there and then a length of paracord, and I have 2 ranger beads on here. You can get away with 1. I just felt like doing 2. And then I did that knot on the end. One thing to keep in mind about a lot of compound bows, especially the modern ones, is a lot of times they're not really designed to be used with the fingers pulling back like that, and as a result, if you do that, a lot of times they will actually de-string themselves, and then you're going to have to put the bow in a bow press to fix it, and of course, it's not great for the bow. So, on a lot of compound bows, having a release is actually pretty much a requirement. Now this one here is my last bow, and this is one that I bought for myself. This is a takedown recurve bow, as you can see, and it's a Southwest Archery Spyder XL. This is made pretty much by Samick, from what I understood. This here is pretty much a Samick Mountaineer. And currently I have the 35-pound limbs on it because of my tendonitis that I've been having issue with, but I love shooting this bow with the 55-pound limbs on it. And when I don't have the problems with my elbow, that's the limbs that I use. For those of you who don't know, the XL on this denotes that it's the extra long model, so this is for a taller archer. And this bow is a 35-pound draw at 29 inches. Now, the thing about that is I have a 31-inch draw length. So with a recurve bow, it's not a problem. You just pull it back to where it is, but doing that with this bow raises the draw weight. So this here is actually not a 35-pound draw for me, it's actually a 45-pound draw. So from here to here, when I'm holding it here, I'm holding back 45 pounds. And for those of you who don't know, you never dry fire a bow, so you don't take a bow, pull it back, and then from here, release it without an arrow in it. It's just not good to do. You can actually damage the bow. So never pull the bow back and release unless there's an arrow in it. And obviously, highly recommended that you don't do that indoors. This bow has a place for a stabilizer right there, but obviously it doesn't have one. It also has a place for a side-mounted quiver, which, once again, it doesn't have one. And it also has a place for an arrow rest, which, once again, it doesn't have it. So as you can see, this is a very simple bow. And that's how I like my bows, is nice and simple. The more things you add to them, the heavier they get. So I like keeping them nice and simple. The only one that isn't this simple is my second bow. But number one, that bow came with all those things, and I could take a lot of that off if I wanted to, but I don't want to, because secondly, I want that bow to be what it is, with all the accessories on it. I like the contrast on this bow between the laminated wood and the black limbs like that, and how you can actually see the laminated wood in the limbs as well. And here's my quiver, as you can see. I also have my arm guard in here. And in this pocket right here, I have my archery glove and a wrench for adjusting my bows. My arrows are in my bow case, and I have 2 bow cases. One of them is for my compound bow and the other is for my recurve. The one for my compound bow is one of the large plastic ones with the foam on the inside. It's too big to really show on camera, but I can show you this. This is the one that I bought for my recurve bow. It comes with these little sleeves to put your limbs in. These right here are the 55-pound limbs for my recurve bow. I'm hoping to get another set of these sleeves very soon so that I can store both sets of limbs in the case. Hopefully a different color though, that way it's easy to tell which is which. Otherwise, I'll just label them. So there's the inside of the case, very simple as you can see. With the sleeves on the limbs cannot bump into the riser as much, and the riser is the center part of the bow. This portion right here, made of the laminated wood, that is the riser. So from here to here, that's the riser. Without the limbs, or the string obviously, right there. The case also has this pocket right here, which is where I keep my bow stringer. The recurve bow also came with this, which is a stringer. It's really nice. It makes stringing the bow very simple. And what the stringer does is you attach one end to this side, one end to that side. You step on the stringer, not the string to your bow, but the stringer, pull up. It gives enough curve to the bow to be able to put the string on there. There are many old ways to string a bow, such as putting your leg through it and, muscling it that way. Another way I have seen is having it like this and twisting it like that. None of those are really considered great for the bow. It can damage the bow from what I have heard. So a stringer like this makes things nice and simple. So it's really not worth skipping out on a stringer. The stringer makes it easier to string the bow, and it makes it less likely to damage the bow. So that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful and informative. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video. See you.